Welcome to the NZ Nomad Runner podcast, first run of the season. I'm Chris Lucas.
And I'm Charlotte Milne.
We're run coaches at CMF Running.
So it's like we said, it's our first podcast.
First run back.
Yeah, so
Might be a bit rusty.
For sure. That's basically why I'm telling you that, to preface the rustiness and the awkward intro.
Yay. Yeah.
We could talk about what we've been up to for the past 4 months or whatever it is, but that would mean the podcast would be like an hour and a half long. And it's all about us and what we've been up to and our clients.
Me.
But instead, we're going to talk about Taupo Ultra.
Yes. Course, aid stations, little bits of the course to look out for, be wary of, drop bags. That's pretty much it. Eh?
Yeah, just the frequently asked questions.
Yeah.
the want to knows.
Yes. Oh, by the way, if you're doing Tarawera this season, just jump into our description of this video. You'll see a link if you want to join our Tarawera onboarding. You can grab a free trial.
Awesome. Sounds great. Come join the pretty existing awesome CMF crew.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rightio, let's fire into this, eh? So yeah, this is the course from the Taupo Ultra website, starting way out here on the northwestern side of the lake.
Good one. At 5:30 in the morning.
Yes. I think just to sort of give a quick overview first, we were sort of discussing the course is you sort of split into a few little blocks. You sort of have that first block that takes you to the Hingare aid station, which is about 28 kilometres in. You sort of have that first block there. Hingare is obviously the start of the 70k also now, so that's pretty cool. Then the next sort of block is that sort of Hingare to airstrip. That sort of, so you got that sort of 30 to 50k kind of mark.
Mm-hmm.
Airstrip is the start of the 50k. Then we have this block here from airstrip to Kinlock,
which is where the 24k starts.
Yeah. Incidentally,
you just pick up people along the way at various times throughout the day.
That is the cool thing about this event, actually, isn't it? As a spectator, it's a really great spectator event, and you sort of see all the distances come by.
Yeah. So basically, the faster the person's, putting out output is, that they're doing a shorter distance. Sorry.
Oh yeah. That's quite funny. And then we have the sort of Kinlock to the finish block.
Yeah.
They all kind of break it down into little chunks. So yeah, the first bit, the start line. What have we got? So yeah, the first part of the course is single trail.
Yeah, it's actually nice, really
all beautiful trail.
It is, yeah. It's I suppose it's like the time of the morning as well, right? The sun's coming up and you're looking out. There's some pretty cool views, and it's just like, if this was like a 28k run, it would be like quite an enjoyable, easy with a bit of hill kind of run. Just kind of like weaving.
Yeah, a lot of switchbacks.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, and I remember when I did it, I've only ever run this part of the course once, I think.
Mm-hmm.
A number of years ago in a relay. So I did exactly that, going hard.
Oh, right, yeah. Well,
that section.
Yeah.
I just remember being, especially in these early stages, you're quite high up. And, sort of hearing the water and stuff down below, and you're looking down, and it's actually very beautiful, that part of the course. And a lot of switchbacks. You can kind of even see them here on the map. Just a lot of windy stuff.
Yeah, and I suppose as well as like the physical aspect of the course that we sort of talked about breaking it down, there's also how you sort of approach each of these blocks. Obviously this is 28 Ks. into a 100K race, and it's easy, runnable trail, but that doesn't mean that you easily run it like you're going out for a 28K run.
Yeah, we were talking before we jumped on, isn't it? You sort of, if you look down here, yeah, it is. Yeah, there's sort of elements of the running, but there is, some pinches in there, eh?
Totally,
There's some pinches in there.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to take some photos, maybe to slow you down, of the beautiful scenery, or have your breakfast. Have some food, and just ease into the race. Yeah, so that may mean walking more hills than you would if it was just like a 28 to 30K run. Easing, yeah. So kind of doing things like that, obviously with the aim of keeping your heart rate down and your exertion down, because you're out there for a long time. So yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So yeah, this sort of single trail sort of goes all the way to this sort of Waihora aid station, doesn't it? I remember, and so that's about 22 k's into the race by the looks. And so, incidentally, there used to be a little out and back here, which has been removed. I'm guessing that trail is not in use currently.
Yeah, I kind of remember that now.
Yeah, and this section actually is like you're sort of out in the open, aren't you? Because I remember you got very good, very awesome views out to the lake. It sort of feels like you're on the coast almost, doesn't it? Like in the cliff. I sort of remember, yeah. That's pretty cool. So yeah, they've taken away that out and back and replaced it with a little out and back later on.
Yeah, just to get the K's up.
Yeah. Yeah, so Waihora aid station, then you that's the end of like the single trail, and then you're out onto farmland here. We've got farmland, and now it's actually farmland all the way from this wee aid station here. This is just a little aid station.
Yes.
22.5 k's in to Hingare. Looks like 27.5 k's in. What's the maths on that? Not much. Not far. Yeah. You can do the maths on that. It's not far. And so yeah, farm land. I remember that. I don't remember this because there was a bit of farmland later on in the course as well, which we'll talk about. I don't remember this farmland being too bad underfoot. Obviously, it was quite several years ago that I did it. Do you have any recollection of it?
Again, it's a few years ago now that I did it as well.
We'll have to come and do it next year. So refresh ourselves.
For sure. Gosh, yeah, maybe not too bad. And I think, if you're with the mentality of going easy, then it's sort of just going easy.
For me, I remember sort of being just that thing of like, when you've sort of been in a single trail and your focus is kind of narrowed, and then all of a sudden you're popping out into the open. It's like, it's just a weird kind of, it is an interesting phenomena of that in running. It's kind of easy in a way to overexert out on the open, like all of a sudden. It's an interesting thing.
I reckon grass is a really hard terrain to run on.
Yeah.
Because you can't really see, the ground because it's like hidden by the grass.
Yeah, like ruts from the stock and all that too.
Yeah, it's not naturally designed for humans. It's designed for livestock, and they, do all sorts of things. Put their heavy weights down into the mud and stuff.
Well, that's what I remember about the farm crossing after Hingare. Is that very rutted out. Big puddle. I remember. It's a little bit of a nice thing you cross through just after. So I don't remember this little bit being too bad. But just out in the open.
Yeah, and I suppose that's just with trail running. You've just in there such a long course. You just have to learn to, it's like when the terrains change, adjust your speed. Yeah,
run the trail. Yeah. Let the course come to you. That's what we always say.
Yeah,
it's like a nice little thing. But it does a lot of energy recruitment, running across soggy grass versus what you've just come across here, like gravel trail.
Yeah, because obviously your foot is sinking into the ground.
Big difference. Yeah, huge.
Just like a little bit of
Yeah. So we used to pop out on the road here, and it was road to Hingari, but now that's sort of continuing on Farmland. So you can tell us all about that after the race, how you found that. Yeah, we'll find out more on, well, I'll find out more. I'm going down to support the crew, and so look forward to seeing you guys out there. Yeah, I'll get to get some insight into what it's like. So I'll get down there, have a look. Yeah.
So I suppose it's like the first like big aid station as well.
It's such a fun aid station.
Yeah, like you've maybe like you've started, it's 5:30, it's a bit cold, and like by the time that you get to this aid station, it's warmed up, and you like might need to get rid of some clothes, kind of thing. And you know, it's like the first point of the relay swapping over. And
70k start.
It's at a reasonable hour of the day, so maybe like additional family members who didn't come to the start line may be there. So yeah, it's a good vibe. Opposed to obviously the 5Ks earlier, which is just in the middle of
a little one.
Yeah, it's just
yes, this is the main aid station, drop bags and the like. I mean, most people wouldn't use a drop bag. You wouldn't. I mean, I typically wouldn't use a drop bag for this if I was on my own. I would just sort of put one at 50k and at the airstrip and at Kinlock. But a few people might like a drop bag here. I don't know.
Yeah, it's all just relative, I suppose, on what you're expecting or your time out there to be.
Personal preference, and all that. And the 70k starts here at 8, was it?
That's right, yeah.
So that's 2.5 hours, is it?
That'll be right, yes.
So I guess the 70kers are going to have the front runners of the 100k come through, I would imagine. Yes, they will.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So that's something to look forward to for the 70kers while you're waiting for your start. I would imagine you're going to get the front runners come through.
True, yeah.
Off the 100k.
Definitely, yeah.
So that's always fun. And you get that same scenario at airstrip too, when you're starting the 50. You get the front runners of the 100k and that coming through there too.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
Yeah, it is. Because I remember being at the 50k last year start and people were coming before it started as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you normally get a few through before you start,
Amazing.
Yeah, cool. So, in Ngare, lots of fun. Good support place. Easy to get to if you're a support crew and all that as well. And then after that, like we sort of mentioned before, on to some more farmland. Yes, like I said, I remember just sort of boggy, rutty at the start. I guess it's right here. If you look at the elevation down the bottom there, there's quite a bit of a dip there. So water collection and the like. I remember it being quite boggy in this section, so that's sort of fun. Might get wet feet.
Fun times.
Yeah. And this little hill here, I remember that being quite a little pincher too. This is such a funny thing. We say this in every course preview we do, because we do them for Tarawera and Faultline Ultra also. But yeah, the elevation profiles are so funny. Like this looks like nothing.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? Like this little thing looks like nothing, but it is something.
Totally. Yeah. It's just like, hello, hill.
Yeah. I just remember that being like, whoa, it's a steep farm hill.
Yeah.
But then you got down on the other side, eh?
Just use different muscle.
Yeah.
Take an opportunity to.
And then at some stage around here, once you go down the hill on the other side, you are entering into that sort of forestry road kind of stuff. Or, I think it's a pine block. We were trying to remember exactly what it's like, but I think for the most part, this little section, from about the bottom of that hill, round about here, to the next aid station, Pukitapu, for the most part, I recall it being kind of forestry block kind of thing. Maybe a little bit more farm crossing before the aid station.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like when, obviously it's been 4 years, and there's some aspects of the course that stick out a lot, and then there's aspects like this part that good work, because I can't remember it at all.
We're quite well versed in the later parts of the course because we've done many runs, social training runs, fun runs.
Yeah.
50k. You've done the 24. Yeah. So that's quite funny. We'll have to go and do.
Definitely.
Run it again, won't we? Refresh ourselves. Refresh ourselves.
Totally, I think so. But I do remember like that sort of like 40k road section. I remember it.
This bit here?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll
get to that in a sec.
Okay. We'll be patient.
Yeah.
And we're at the end.
Road section coming up. Yeah.
And
that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching.
The rest is just trail.
So we got the little out and back. Now the addition. I would imagine that's just a bit of forestry road, bit of a turnaround, just to add a bit of distance. And then the Puketapu aid station. Again, not a major aid station. As your next one is airstrip. After Puketapu, you have gravel road, isn't it? Up to the junction here, to your road that you were just talking about.
Yes.
And are we? This is one of those ones that sort of catches you out. These little hills, this little hill here, because it is like gravel.
Yes, I do remember that.
And it's not a steep. I see on the elevation profile, it's sort of saying there's not a lot of gradient there. But it's kind of long. Like it is a bit of a thing, and so it's just one of those ones where, I mean, the front runner's obviously going to be running up it. But even if you're like a pretty solid mid-packer, you might, or a front of mid-pack runner, you might still take a couple of walking breaks on that hill. Just to reset, that kind of thing. If you're sort of mid-packer, then I'd suggest just power hiking up it. Yeah. Yeah,
and it's out in the open as well.
Yeah.
And
it's an interesting one,
It is 1 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it could be out in the open, be a bit warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I sort of noticed that so if you go out conservative, I sort of noticed I started passing a few people.
Yeah.
And it's only like 40 Ks odd in. So if you're that way inclined to, be the patient kind of person, like, which is always uplifting, like passing people, and you're not necessarily going like, it's just like you're not necessarily like running or going like super fast. You're just kind of keeping pace,
keeping effort. Yeah,
and
that's the thing, and I think that's a great thing about this course, isn't it? Is it's a very good course to work your strengths on. And manage that, like, because there is some fast bits. Yeah, and so it's one of those ones, isn't it?
Totally.
Yeah, like if you're pretty fast on some, I guess we'll get to that. Like, this whole block here is like quite a fast section. What was your time when you did the 100k? 12 something, wasn't it?
Yeah, like 12:58.
Sub 13.
Yes.
Nice. And I remember too. You went out pretty conservative.
Very.
And it was about this 40-ish K mark, so between 40K, between the Puketapu aid station, which used to be on the corner here, by the way, between that aid station and airstrip, which was only like 7-odd K or something, then you overtook a lot of people.
Yeah, I think I was at the aid station faster than you thought.
Yeah. No, it was a quick block.
I think I just, it was good on hills.
Just the road. Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Cool. So, gravel road up. Yep. Then we got the road, Tarsiel road section. Now, there is a hill here somewhere, isn't there?
Totally, yeah.
Again, looks like nothing.
It's kind of decent.
But, you do have some up. Yeah, a bit of up there. Then quite a steep. And you got the nice downhill coming into the airstrip. And that's sort of where you get this net downhill sort of thing happening, up more or less up until you get into Kinlock, really. It sort of starts before you're coming into the airstrip. Something to look forward to.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So now we're arriving at airstrip. 50 Ks, major aid station, start of the 50K race.
Halfway through the race.
Yeah. 48, it says it's 48 Ks. ish. 47 it says there.
Well,
which I do remember when I did the first 2 legs of the relay, I did clock about 48, I think.
Well, this course is a little short than the...
Technically not short.
Okay. But on your watch, it will be short.
On your watch, you will be short.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, you can decide whether you think it's short or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a description on the website.
Yeah, I suppose it doesn't really matter if it is or isn't. It's just like what it says on your watch, and then knowing that, and then just adjusting.
It's a nice thing to know
yes.
that you're going to clock less on the watch, and we'll talk about that in that last block. But it is nice to know what to expect that you're going to end up with on your watch, isn't it? Especially in those last sections of a race.
For sure. Yeah. Don't get into the weeds of why it is and what it is, but it's just like adding it to your toolbox of the race, and just getting on with it, and just getting on with the thing that you're meant to do, which is running. Such
a good mental thing to know, like that kind of stuff. So airstrip, drop bag location, easy for crew to get to, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm also like, with this sort of coming into this time of the race,
I think it's all good.
Is also coming into those sort of like tick box Ks. So you're well and truly like settled into the race. You may have like encountered maybe some little problems, maybe, but you are kind of like, like really key section of the race, right? Because you've
knocked out 50 odd K.
You've eaten like quite a lot of carbs. You're feeling good, or you're not feeling good. But like, if you're feeling good, it's quite easy to be like, right, I want to get to like 75 Ks, Kinlock, because that's where I'm picking my pacer, or I'm nearly back home. It's just 25 Ks. So I just have to run these 25 Ks. And with the nature of the trail, being like downhill / runnable with a little pincher. I think I kind of remember that actually.
Oh yeah.
So
it's a fast bit of the course.
Which are like, if you've done everything kind of right, like your heart rate may have settled, and your body feels all right, so you can naturally just, if you keep holding pace, like you're going to pass people, just
keep ticking away,
just by people's natural thing of like slowing down. So it's a good, and you're just kind of getting through them, like you're just getting through that section, enjoying it. Might be a chance to like listen to some music, and just cruise.
That stage of a 100K race, that sort of 50 to 70 odd K mark is an interesting one, like you said, tick box Ks, because you're not quite, the finish line's not quite pulling you in, but you're far enough away from the start line that you're just like, woof, I'm in this. And it's like the middle of the day, sometimes a bit warmer, and there's issues popping up and that kind of thing.
You might be by yourself as well, like obviously, like at the start it's just like a stream of people.
Of course, can be spread out.
And so if you're not like necessarily like running with someone, or you're racing someone, you're probably going to be like by yourself for most of it.
Were you on your own, like section? Oh, interesting.
I was a bit of a loner runner anyway. I didn't really want to talk to anyone. I was like, got a business to do.
All game.
Game I don't think I really talked to anyone throughout the race.
I often go into my own little world. It's funny.
A good tip actually is that I've learned 4 years on, is it's really good to like encourage people. And just like you passing them and you're like doing well, like everyone, no matter what their time, is doing well in a 100K race, because you're running 100Ks.
Totally.
Like not everyone runs 100Ks, even though it's so normalized in the running world. So it's just being a part of the race.
Nice tip.
Yes.
And like engaging with the aid station and volunteers and marshals and stuff is another really nice thing, just to
definitely.
I always find that nice, like, because they're out there volunteering for the event, and helping you and supporting you, and I think it's nice to engage with them as well.
Definitely, because some of them obviously not always runners as well. They're like community groups.
Yes, great.
So like, literally out there to, for supporting of the community.
Yes.
Like as a whole, not just the running, being runners from the running community.
So I will say about this section of the course, I think this is more of a dangerous section of the course for the 50K runners.
Right.
Because, obviously airstrip's the start of your race. And, this is some very easy running to Kinlock in the 50K. A big net down, very runnable trails, and you're fresh at the start of your 50K. And your heart rate's going to be low because you're essentially running down, and so your effort level might feel quite easy. Your effort level and your heart rate might be reading quite easy in relation to the pace that you're going, and you're tapered and all that kind of stuff. But you are running downhill, and the course has got all those little ups and downs, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just like two things. It's like, first of all, with those undulating, it's like
they're tiny.
Yeah, but they're so niggly. Like if you're not used to running on that kind of terrain, I remember like the first training run, like my sort of like hips and knees got a bit of a hammering.
Yes, it's a famous thing that people that run this course say, hip flexors.
Yeah, and it's just like you feel like you're just going way down further than you need to for the side of the hill that's coming up, and it's just things that on your body is just an unusual.
Yeah, and these are just tiny little it's like little mountain bike
continuous
undulations. Yeah,
designed for mountain bikes, not necessarily runners.
They're interesting.
Yes, and I also was going to say that with the pace for the 50K, I had a client last year who definitely went out too fast in the first half, and then suffered a little bit on the second half. And it was just that she, for the nature of the course, like it's exciting, downhill, runnable,
it's body fatiguing, isn't it? That section with the downhill and the undulations,
yeah.
And then you're sort of cooking your quads a bit, and you sort of need them for this last block.
Yeah, and again, it's like that slight thing of like it's still 50Ks, it's like it's still kind of a long way. So if you've gone out like almost like threshold, like tempo to threshold effort, and it can be a bit.
Yeah, you want some power in those legs for this headland for Kinlock to the finish. You want some power in the legs, no matter what distance you're doing. You want some power in the legs for leaving Kinlock. Yeah.
Yes.
That's the guts of the race, really, isn't it? In a sense, is that last section, really.
Yeah, so it's like the famous section of this race. Literally everyone who does the race does this section. And it's kind of like if you have cooked yourself.
Headland Loop here.
If you've cooked yourself on the 100K, 70K, or 50K, like you're going to be trudging.
Yeah, and it feels like the Headland Loop itself is like a Bermuda Triangle that you just it's like it swallows you up. And you're like, am I ever getting to the next aid station?
Yeah.
I get reported so many times.
Funny.
And I've experienced it myself as well, just even on just the casual runs. It's like, man, when is this loop ending? You can see it. Like you're just going on all these little, like again, there is a lot of little switchbacks, a lot of little turns. In these sort of big out sections, like these two big out bits here.
Yeah, it is, and it's kind of like it's in the forest.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like you can't see out, so you're just like
get a bearing on where you're at exactly.
And you're like, this looks familiar.
Yeah. No, it does. It is interesting. So I think that's a good I'm kind of jumping ahead a bit, but that's all right. It's a good thing to just be mentally aware of. This section is just just have your mental game on for it, and just be patient, like between getting from Headland 1 to Headland 2.
Right, just don't go across the green.
Yeah. It's just going to take what it takes to knock that bit out.
And obviously if you're in the 70K or the 100K, you have picked up your pacer. So that mentally could be a huge help, especially if you've been trudging for, a little while. Just having the company of another person to stop you thinking about your problems.
Stop you thinking about what a shit time you're having currently.
Oh my gosh, why am I doing this? Questioning your life choice.
Why did I sign up to this ultra?
What is wrong with me? You're running again. Get to the finish.
I'm going to stop doing ultras. Yeah.
Get to the finish. I'm doing Tarawera.
Yeah. This video. Right, so back to this bit here. And you end up popping out into Kinlock, really, don't you? You sort of end up getting alongside the lake again and running into Kinlock. This is another little mental preparation tip here. Is it feels like you're almost at Kinlock, but then you go on a little tiki tour.
Yeah.
The Kinlock tiki tour.
This is that famous bit. Well, I feel like it's a famous bit for like photos for sale. Like how many?
Yeah.
How many photos?
Alan will be in there. Yeah. Alan and his crew.
Yeah. Everyone's got a photo in this section.
Yeah, it's just a nice, easy section to access.
Yeah.
And it's nice. Yeah.
So get photo ready.
Yeah, get photo ready anywhere along this sort of lakefront here. They could be along here.
Yeah.
And then possibly, you were saying here, wouldn't you?
Yeah, they're definitely in the,
yeah.
It's kind of like up this, I can't remember, it's kind of like a little lip.
Yeah. That's cool, eh? So yeah, how long is the Kinlock Tiki Tour? So we've got 64.3 there, 70 odd. So yeah, it is about 7Ks. Well, then you still got a little bit into Kinlock aid station itself. So that's 71. Well, 71 according to the this file.
It is kind of a mentally challenging
64
bit.
71. Yeah, it's about 7Ks. It is a tricky one.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while since you've been back at airstrips, since you've seen your crew, where it is in the race. It's mid-afternoon, late afternoon for some, like all that kind of stuff. Like you've been out there for a while now. You're looking forward to seeing the crew, and then it's like, oh, here you go. You got a 7K tiki tour.
Yeah, because it's like literally, as you can see on the map, like it's like you're going to come out the other side. So there's people there, and you can like see that that's the exit.
And there'll be supporters here, or like maybe your crew's walked here to like see you on the course.
Yeah,
and it's like, yep, see you in 7. See you at Kinlock.
And it's like 7Ks can take like anything, I guess, from like. Well, if you're really fast, not long, but like it can take like
it's like an hour. Over an hour for an ultra, for like a mid packer, rear pack. Yeah, that can be over an hour for some.
Definitely. So
I think that's a real good thing. Yeah, just to be prepared for. Mentally more than anything.
We all know like long out and backs, like it's always the way out is longer. You know, when you get to the turnaround point, it sort of gets...
That's a nice one to break it down. Yeah.
Like, because you don't know how far it is to the finish, but when you... to the end. But when you get to the end, you know how far it is to the back out. Like, it's because you've run it. It's just on the other side of the trail. Like, it's not the same trail.
Just that little bit there is... Yeah. So it's an interesting... Yeah. It's a cool little bit. But just be, it's another little mental, put that in the mental locker.
Yeah. For sure.
Cool. So Kinlock, 71-ish Ks, according to this one. And major aid station, start line of the 24K. Not sure what time the 24K starts. We were debating it last night.
12. I'm pretty sure it must be 12.
About 12-ish.
Yeah.
And great hub, great support. My advice to anyone really in this race, even if you're front and mid pack, whatever, is just give yourself make sure you've looked after everything when you're at this aid station and before leaving, because you're sort of coming into that last block of 25 odd K or whatever it is. It's not the fastest 25K as to what you would have just come through or other sections of the race, and obviously it's at the end of the race as well, so there's like fatigue element in that. Just look after yourself like at that one. Take those extra few minutes if you need to, change your socks, whatever, if you need to, if there's something, a hot spot on your foot. Take your shoe off and have a look at it. Yeah. Deal with it. Just that kind of stuff. Make sure you got your, head, you got to have a headlamp, obviously, if you're going to be going into darkness. There's a time thing for the headlamp. I think if you're leaving there after 2:30 or something, it's compulsory. Just all those little things. Make sure you got all your calories and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I had a funny experience with this race. Like I was very, actually, when I did this, I was very green to ultra running. Like Chris and I had met like a year before, and that was like, so I'd only been sort of in the scene for like a year, and I was just young and full of beans. And I like ate so much food at the aid station, and I was really full at Kinlock. And so I had to like sip on Coke. Pretty much that's all I could stomach. But it was just a rookie mistake.
It was a bit of over-fueling, really, wasn't it?
Definitely didn't lose any weight from not that that's the aim. Definitely didn't lose any weight doing this race. I was getting enough calories, but I had
quite funny.
Yeah, but I had a good last.
Yeah, you're strong. Yeah.
So it is possible. Oh, that's another thing about 100K. The run, I like to say the run starts obviously at the start line, but the race starts at 75 Ks. You can only, if you've kind of like managed your output reasonably well for 75 Ks, and you've done like the training, leading up, and then you've managed your output to your like ability for the first 75 Ks, you should be able to like push a little bit harder for the last 25 Ks, because you've only got 25 Ks to go and then you're finished. Not like, the first 25 Ks when you've got 75 Ks to go. Save that energy.
Yeah, save some energy, yeah.
Save that energy that you could run the first 25 Ks in for the last 25 Ks, and you will be doing awesome.
Yeah, and even like if we talk about this last section, there's like 8.5 Ks from the last aid station to the finish line, and it's a very sharp downhill, as you can see down the bottom here.
Oops.
You can see it's quite a sharp. I think it's 200 and something meters of net down from the last aid station. So and 8.5 Ks is 8.5 Ks. That's significant. At the end of the race, and of a lot of downhill running. So you want to be running that stuff.
Definitely.
So if you're cooked and walking that entire section, that's going to take you a very long time, like a couple of hours, 4 Ks an hour.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
If you're lucky, almost. But if you're running, then you're gonna bash that out in an hour, because it's downhill, very much downhill.
Yes.
So there's just those kind of things. Yeah.
You've come out into the open. You've come out of the Headland Loop, and you're like, thank goodness.
Yeah. Past the aid station. Yeah, you can hear the once you get to round about that last aid station or a little bit past it, you'll start hearing you can hear the finish line, can't you?
Yeah.
And the happenings.
For sure. road?
Sort of flat, bit of road. Yeah, just a little bit of road here, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Sort of going around that boat thing or something or other, aren't you?
And then you're going into the
fairly quickly. You are going into the trail, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. And then then you got a bit of a climb there.
Totally.
That's unless you're sort of an advanced runner or athlete, most folks are going to be walking up here. Might be a couple of little flatter bits that you can jog out, that kind of thing. But for the most part, that's a bit of a power hike, that one. For most of us. What else?
There are some nice runnable bits in the Headland Loop, like when you're kind of like weaving down.
A lot of downhill too.
And they're quite nice. Like when depends on what your strengths are, but that's like, those downhills can be good. A good tip that I like to use for downhills is instead of like your knees taking all your weight in the impact, like try to use your core. I had really sore obliques after this race because of just throughout the race, like the windiness, I was able to like use my core, and I think it is instead of my knees, basically. So if you're able to do that, give it a go.
Yeah.
Practice engaging your core from now until the race.
The day before.
Yeah. And
Yeah, cool. Yeah. You're sort of out onto the Headland Loop itself then, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Like we said before, well, from this aid station, you got a bit of down, and then you're sort of into that up again. Yeah, this is just one of those things. Like, there's going to be some walking in there with the up. There's, this uphill's pretty decent, isn't it? So that's 77.4. 77.80. Yeah, about 3 kilometres of up there. Decent amount of elevation. So, 130, 150 meters kind of thing. And that. So yeah, not crazy, but just, it's just where it is in the race, eh?
Yeah.
And that, yeah. I
suppose it's just like also at this point in the race, like it's just like keeping moving, like not stopping because you're like your head's like mentally telling you BS or, you just are really struggling. Like if you just keep marching, trudging, like you can actually be quite quick. Mm-hmm. And it's, if you're on a mission to get it done, you can, the excitement and the emotion can like really push you there.
Looks like we've got about, Headland 1, 76.5, Headland 2, 85.7, 9 odd Ks. I remember looking at a data file of one of our runners before the podcast, and a couple of them were sort of half a K longer than what it's sort of mentioning here. Right. So, just sort of be prepared for, so that's 76 and a half. What is that? 9, eh? 9 and a bit, yeah. So it's about 9.5, 10 Ks basically between those two. So it's a decent little section that.
Yeah, I was just
was the Bermuda Headland Loop. Remember? Huh?
I was just thinking that just before I was like, some tips for like just general tips for this race, and one of them was I didn't have my Ks like beeping at me like every 1K, so not 100 times or whatever. And so it just depends on how you race, I guess. Like that might be a good idea, but also then still checking your Ks at key points could be a good one. Because it might be a bit intense, like if it's just beeping at you like every 1K. Or you can just like not look at all. And just go off like what intuitively feels right as well is another thing. I kind of did that.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's right. What else was I going to say? Just intuitive. Yeah, you can just be intuitive on your output. Lost my train of thought there a bit.
I don't really look at kilometres or pace in 100K or a miler. Even at 50K, actually. Like I really don't, like in the trail setting, it's really about feel and heart rate, if you're familiar with your heart rate and your zones and stuff. I kind of go by that, and I don't look at distance at all until, like you said, like key points. So when I'm racing a 50K, for example, like, so for me, if I was racing this 50K, I would know what it says on the GPX here, like, so it says 71. I would actually check my watch. On the 50K it'd be different, wouldn't it? I would actually check my watch to see that the Ks I'd have in my mind like what it says on Kinlock on the 50K, and I would check my watch to see what it was reading, and it just sort of gives you a gauge of like, I do just like to do that, like, because you'd always get those little discrepancies, and everyone's watch is a little bit different, and depends on when the GPX is set to ping and all that kind of stuff. And I just think it's just a nice thing to sort of get to know at that point. And then and then sort of that last aid station too, which I guess we're sort of up to now, really, in a sense. It's just good to know that, and I've checked this against we've had a lot of runners over the years do the varying distances here, and it's about 8.5 Ks that they clock, between 8 and 8.5 from Headland 2 to the finish line.
Woohoo.
And so that's a really good thing to know as a runner in the race. When you're fatigued and tired, like stick that in your mind, write it down somewhere, whatever, that you've got that amount of distance to go to the end. And because then you can just get to know, like if you're expecting 100 in your head, I've seen people finish Taupo and been like, oh man, I thought there was 3 more Ks to go, because the watch, if you're doing the 100K, your watch is going to clock 96, 97, 98 Ks.
Yeah.
Typically around 97, I think it is. Most sort of clock on their watch. I think even on this GPX, what is it saying here? That's actually saying 93.3, which is, that's the thing. But yeah, most folks tend to clock 96 to 98.
Yeah.
Based on previous years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just a good thing to realize, as you're, at key places like Kinlock, if things are lining up, and certainly at that last one, what the total number is going to look like on your watch is nice to know as you're closing out a race.
Definitely. And I was just like another sort of general tip that is good. So maybe if this is like you're doing the 100K, maybe you've done like the 50K or before. So knowing the course is a huge advantage, whether if you've raced a previous race or you've done some training runs on it. So like, with your memory of like sort of how far things feel, can really help with like not obsessively like trying to like think about your Ks, and just like general things like that, especially, not a lot of people just like, I'm just going to go do a casual 100K. It obviously means something to you, and it's just like investing that time can be like a really beneficial thing to do.
Getting some training runs on the course. Yeah.
Or at least, or at least like having had raced like the 50K previously. And
for sure.
It's like it kind of leads into like, the Tarawera. Like
just thinking as you're saying that, we do our training weekend at Tarawera, 3 weekends out from the race, weekend of 25th of Jan. So keep a lookout for that, and it's open to anyone. It's free, open to the public.
Yeah, so it's basically a weekend of running.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So keep a lookout for that.
Yeah.
Like we said before, that's pretty much it, isn't it? Get past Headland 2 aid station, 8.5 odd Ks to the finish, and 200 and something odd meters of net down. And hopefully you're in good nick and you can enjoy that downhill running.
Yeah, and then the flat finish.
And then the flat finish. So you you really start coming down here. You sort of come out into the open here, don't you? So you're in the sort of bush there. You get sort of little glimpses across the bay here, and you can hear the finish line. But then at some point around about here, you start coming out into the open, don't you?
Yeah.
These little turnaround bits, and then you cross a little. What is it? The stile or whatever the thing, little fence. You got to climb over the thing.
Yes, basically.
And then a nice flat finish to the end.
Nice, and then that's that.
Congratulations, you have just finished the Taupo Ultra. Lockie's happy about that. Now we can give him some more attention.
Yeah.
So we forgot to mention too. So we're house sitting at the moment in Titirangi in West Auckland, and here's Lockie. I don't know if you can see him. Hey boy, he's such a nice dog. He's our mate. He loves running, so we've been taking him on a lot of runs. And so these medals behind here that you can potentially see, they're not ours.
Yeah, we don't move our medals around.
Yeah, it's a great backdrop, isn't it? These are all my athletic achievements.
Yes, no, but they're
we're not that high tech in terms of our backdrops. Low key, low budget, low key.
Yes.
All right, that's about it. Catch you on the next video. Links are in the description about us. Remember the Tarawera one. If you're training for Tarawera, you can get $150 worth of free coaching in the current offer. And check out CMF Run Club as well.
And also, if you have any questions about anything to do with running,
yes,
can be nothing to do with Taupo Ultra, can just be running 101.
Yeah.
Please ask them in the description below, and your question may be asked in the next podcast.
Or just messages on Instagram. We're easy to find. Yeah, CMF Running or whatever.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get back into the...
Yeah, this is the first one of the season.
Yay. Good job. First one done. Catch you in the next one.
Bye.